Hey, now I know what you're thinking. You've probably seen these same 5 different brands of coffee, either at your local grocery store, online, or possibly even at a friend's house. And you probably thought to yourself, well, is that any good? Would I even like the flavor? What is the price point on that? And well, I'm here to tell you. My name is Chris. I'm with HotShotsCatering.com, and this is Hot Shots TV, and we're gonna break down the top 5 most popular gourmet coffees that are out in the market right now in 2019. So stay tuned, sit back and relax, and grab a cup of coffee, and we'll be right back. Hey, and welcome back. Thank you for joining me today for this list of the 5 most popular gourmet coffees in 2019. So we put this list together based on other baristas we've talked to, other people locally in our industry that we've talked to find out, hey, what are either the most popular coffees that are out there on the market that you would like to know about, or these are the list of the different coffees that people drink every single day before they go to work. And so this is how we're going to do this review. We pretty much purchased all whole beans of coffee of these different brands. The only one that's not whole bean is this one here, the Bulletproof Coffee. But the reason for that is what we wanted to do with the whole bean calculation in our review is we want to get the freshest cup of coffee possible. And so think of it like a fruit or a vegetable. As soon as you break that whole piece down, you start degrading what's inside, right? The freshness and everything else. So same premise here for us. We want to see a whole bean, we want to grind the beans, and then we have the freshest cup possible in our opinion. The next thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to get what an average person, going to the store, grabbing a bag of coffee, what are they going to get? Same thing if you went to a restaurant, what type of coffee would you get? More than likely, they're not going to do a light roast and they're not going to do a dark roast, even though a lot of restaurants you probably get served a light roast. But it's a medium blend. So that's what we have here. The only one that's a little bit higher than a medium is this guy right here, this Black Rifle. It's called Just Black. And so I figured, we're going to be doing a cupping of these. We're going to taste them. How we typically do these reviews is we taste them all black first, and then we add a little bit of cream, and then we give you a review on that as well. So this one here is a little bit higher than a medium, but I think overall, people who just want to have a great cup of coffee, these guys here should be the top contenders. So other thing is that we also try to purchase these just like you would, either online or at our local grocery store. So these 3 right here, we actually purchased on Amazon, and these 2 down here, we actually purchased them through our local grocery store. All of them were bought around the same time, probably within a couple days notice. And primarily these 3 here that we purchased online through Amazon, we also made sure that we purchased them through the actual dealer, which was important. These 2, obviously we don't know if they came through the actual dealer or if they're through another third party. But overall, that shouldn't change too much. Now, one of the factors that you should always look at when you go to a grocery store is you want to find, most of the time, now I think there's only 1 or 2 of these that actually has a roasted date. Most coffees that you'll find at the grocery store, they don't have a roast date, they have a best by date. And so typically when you're buying coffee, just a quick tip, is you want that longest best by date. So if it's like 2024, and the latest other ones that you're looking at that are on the front, in front of you on the front shelf might be 2020, well then get the 2024, because more than likely they roasted that obviously a little bit closer to the time that you're picking it up at the store. So that's kind of what we got together there. And then let me get into the brewing method of how we're going to do this review. So we have one of our commercial bun units that we're going to utilize to actually brew this coffee. That's probably the closest way to how you would brew this coffee at home. So we figured that would be kind of the best way to do this. And then lastly, before we start getting into doing the actual brewing and doing the cupping and tasting, I just want to be very clear with you guys. I have no affiliation with any of these brands. None of these brands reached out to me for any contribution or to do this video. So here at Hot Shots, we believe in full disclosure with these reviews. I want to give you an honest review. I don't want to be biased going into it by saying, oh, hey, we took some money and this is what we're doing. So none of these companies have contacted me. I've not contacted them. We've bought these coffees all with our own money. And so we're bringing them to you so we can really feel that we can give you a good unbiased review. So without further ado, we're going to brew these up and then I'll be right back and we'll start tasting them. Okay, so we just ground the coffee. Now we're freshly brewing the coffee for this review. But before I go any further, what I like to do is do a little bit of aroma test and a visual inspection of each one of these roasts. So let's start here with actually the bulletproof coffee. Now, if you remember, as far as the coffee goes, it's already pre-ground. So visually, I'm not gonna be able to tell you much. And typically how I do the aroma test is I pretty much smell it. If it smells just like a typical ground coffee, then that's what I'm going to tell you. If what we're looking for is really anything outside the ordinary that I can smell to say, hey, this has this type of notes or what have you. So far, visually, it looks like your regular ground coffee. And through the smell test, it smells maybe a little bit lighter than a traditional ground up coffee, but overall, I think it's pretty much spot on what you typically find with ground coffee. Now the Death Wish coffee, I will tell you first and foremost, visually, it's very oily and the beans are very, very dark. They're probably the darkest out of all these ones here. They're almost black, but they are very, very oily. The other ones actually aren't very oily at all, just from visual first look at. Now I will tell you too, it almost has like an espresso bean smell as well, so keep that in mind. But other than that, you know, it's pretty much your standard beans of coffee, but definitely almost to me reminds me more of an espresso style bean. Now we have the Intelligentsia, and this is probably the blondest or lightest roast that I see here. Very, very dry looking, not oily at all. And really, it smells pretty light. It's probably even has kind of more of a lighter scent than even the Bulletproof, if that makes sense. But yeah, very, very light brown color, non-oily. Now we got the Black Rifle coffee, just black. This one's a little oily, not as dark as the Death Wish, but probably like your typical bag of coffee looks anyways. Now the smell is very similar actually to the Death Wish. Kind of has more of the espresso type smell, and definitely a little bit darker as well. Now finally, we will go on to the Blue Bottle. Now the Blue Bottle is probably a little bit darker of a roast than this guy here, the Intelligentsia, but probably not as dark as anything else we got here. It might be actually more on par with the Bulletproof coffee. It's also not oily almost at all. It's a little bit slightly more oily than the Intelligentsia, but other than that, it smells like your standard cup of beans. So other than that, let's move on finally to the actual tasting part of our review. Okay, so now it's time to do our review. Just for full disclosure, I actually literally just walked in and sat down, and how we do this is I have this black silk screen right in front of me here, and actually all the coffee that's in front of me, I have no idea what it is. So on this side of the black silk screen is actually all the drip coffees ready to go for me to taste. And I can tell you just from looking at them, they are all the shades of the same color. So I have no idea what I'm drinking, but how we typically do this is I'm gonna sip from left to right, all the different coffees that are in front of us here, and then we try them all black, and then actually have some cream here. Then we do another round where we add a little bit of cream to each one to see if there's any other different notes or different flavors that come out. And if so, I tell you about it. If not, I just say, hey, it tastes the same. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the first one. Like I said, we're going to start from left and work our way all the way to the right. And I'm just going to taste this one. So cheers. Okay, that's very good. That's just a very good cup of coffee to start off with. I will say it's not too strong. It's definitely a medium roast, maybe even a little bit on the lighter side to me. But overall, I think it actually tastes really good. So yeah, I like that one a lot. There's not really any special notes or anything about this one that I can tell. Not very acidic, pretty smooth as well. So, but overall, just a pretty good cup of coffee. Let's try the next one. Okay, now that one, I definitely taste more like a dark or chocolatey notes. It's very good as well. It's kind of, it's a different type of medium roast if it's medium. But very impactful as soon as you taste it. It's pretty bold, but very good. Just a little bit different taste. It kind of even has a little bit of a smoky taste, I'd say. Okay, so let's go to this next one here. I'd say just a good cup of coffee. That one tastes pretty standard to me. This one, I guess in the middle here. Not too dark, not too light, but pretty just a good medium blend coffee. I can say it's probably a little bit less tasteful than the first one I tried, but overall pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one here definitely tastes different. I'm actually trying to put my finger on what the taste is. Has a very unique taste. I almost want to taste kind of like oaky or something. I mean, it has like a little hint of a smoky taste to it, but it definitely has a unique taste. I don't know if I can put my finger on it any more than that. It's definitely a medium blended or medium roast coffee. Maybe a little bit more on the darker side, but not too much. Not as much as this other one that I tried. But definitely has a very unique taste to it. I'm gonna try it one more time actually. I almost want to say it's more earthy, if that makes sense. Yeah, definitely a unique taste. Now let's go to the last one here, the one on this end. Now this one's interesting. Has a very unique taste to it. Very earthy, but it's almost like a green tea taste, if you will. This one on the end here. A medium blend, not very impactful at first, but definitely has a note trailing it. really tastes to me almost very green, I guess is the best way to explain it. Very, almost like it's plant-based or something, but very earthy and very, almost like a tea aftertaste, like a green tea is kind of what I'm tasting, kind of aftertaste. So now let's go through. We're starting back at the beginning. I'm going to add a little bit of cream in each one, and then I'm going to tell you if there's anything that changes, if there's any other notes that I taste here. So let's start with this first one. Excuse me. Not really anything different there. Obviously, I'm not really stirring these either, so. I actually like that one a lot. Out of all these, I think I like this one here a lot. That cream kind of made it very, very creamy for one, but really brought out some kind of softer notes to it, and really mellowed it out. Almost kind of, let's see here. Almost like a creamy tobacco taste, if that makes sense, but it's very good. Let's try this middle one here. A little bit of cream. That one I like a lot as well. I like an actual darker coffee, so this one here, I like the notes that come out of it. I can definitely tell a difference. When I add just a little bit of cream to it, it really hones it down and makes it just taste like a really creamy, dark cup of coffee. Okay, second to last one. Now that one got really interesting with cream. When I added just a little bit of cream, it actually brought out this whole unique taste to it. I don't know how to explain it, but I like it. Very light, almost like you're actually tasting just the cream, but very more of a hint of an undertone of coffee. Very good though. Let's try this last one here. This last one as well. It's almost like a cream in a tea almost. I don't know what to say about it, but it's just very interesting all the way around, but very good as well. Let's say my favorite, I really like this one right here. I really like the middle one as well. And this last one is unique. I wouldn't say I dislike it, but it has a unique flavor to it that I do enjoy as well. So, last thing before we actually find out what these are and see if I'm surprised by anything, but last thing I'll mention to you is all these coffees were around a price point between $12 and $20, the way you see them here. So some of them, like the blue bottle, was a smaller bag. I think that one was around 12 something, and then probably the more expensive ones were probably either the Black Rifle or the Death Wish coffee. So other than that, you kind of got a good review, I think, of each one of these coffees, hopefully. I can tell you they're all good, but let's have a look, see what they are. Oh wow, okay, so this is a surprise to me. This one here is kind of a surprise to me because I thought, like I said, I thought this one here was going to be a darker coffee. And then we got this Black Rifle coffee here. That's probably my favorite out of all these. I'll tell you, I really do like it a lot. This middle one, the Bulletproof, surprises me because it was such a light color, as we mentioned, but overall it actually tasted, I thought it tasted pretty dark, if I remember right. This one here was a unique one, and then this guy here, the Intelligentsia, That's kind of surprising because to me, these last two almost have kind of a plant-based aftertaste. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but to me, that's kind of what it tasted like either like a tea base or something like that. Maybe very green. Maybe it's something in the roasting process. They were also some of the lighter beans, if you remember when we went through them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hope you got something out of it. And if you did, I really appreciate it. If you like this channel, we're going to try to continue to bring you guys some reviews. Share this with your friends and family, anyone who loves coffee, and definitely don't forget to subscribe. If you ever have any questions, definitely leave a comment below and let us know how we can improve or how we can help you out with your coffee needs. Once again, this is Chris with Hot Shots, and we'll see you guys next time. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this video today. And if you want to see more great content, click here. Have you subscribed yet? Click here. Do you want to find out more about Hot Shots? Go to hotshotscatering.com and find out why we are the premier gourmet coffee caterer in the DFW Metroplex. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.